Hello everybody, my name is Pravus, and welcome to Dawn of Man. It's been a while since we last played, but I am eager to get into the third and final base scenario, and that's what we are going to do today. It is called Ancient Warriors, and it is considered to be the most difficult of the three base scenarios, mainly because we do not start in the Paleolithic era, so no mammoths to be seen. Instead, we start in the Neolithic era, which means we will be getting raided pretty much from year one. So it's going to be very difficult and very bloody. Lots of humans to worry about more than giant prehistoric beasts. Now, where do we want to start for our starting location? Blood Lake? Plains of Conflict? Blood River? Wow, there's a lot of blood involved. Canyon of Slaughter? Well, that sounds pretty good. You know what? We're going to start ourselves in the Canyon of Slaughter. I like that. And what are we going to call this place? How about Dawnvault? That sounds pretty good. We will be playing in hardcore mode, which means, of course, that we cannot save the game or reload. If we make a mistake, we have to live with it. It also means that everything is going to be harder. A lot harder. And we can't even pause, so that'll be rough. I'm not going to play a nomad this time. Let's go ahead and start off settled so I don't have to waste the early days building things up, even though we do start with the materials to do so. The starting location is usually pretty good in the game, so I'm going to assume that's the case here as well. There have been a couple of updates since the last time I played Dawn of Man. There's armor now. That's going to be pretty useful in a scenario where we're going to be fighting a lot, though it might mean the raiders also have armor, so that could become a liability. And cheese is a thing. If you have milk, you can get cheese. Isn't that exciting? All right, so we have 3 huts, a storage hut, and a crafter, all of which is obviously quite good. We need to get ourselves some sticks. We'll go ahead and place down over here and make sure people start gathering some of those. And we need to gather up some flints. We'll do something over here, gather up over there like so. Can we place down some storage? Yes, we can. Let's do it close-ish to our crafting area. We'll have a bunch of sticks right outside the crafter, let's say right there, and a stone pile over here as well. There we go. Okay. So that's going to get us started. We also have a mortar and a hearth, so we will be able to make bread. Now, let's take a look at tech and see what we start off with. So sure enough, we do have all the Paleolithic and Mesolithic techs, which is a little sad because I do like the early game in these 2 stages, but we definitely jump forward in time quite a bit. We do start with the thatching, which is good for the upgraded houses, and we also start with cereal domestication, which means if in springtime we actually could start growing some of our own crops. Well, that's actually kind of exciting. Maybe we should set up a small field of, let's say, emmer right along over here. Now, it's not going to matter right now because it is fall, apparently, so we're not going to be able to plant any crops yet, but having that early food source could actually end up being very significant. Maybe. Let's see, we need to set up a few work areas. I would like to get some fish work areas set up over there. I would like to get some harvesting areas for any of the local produce, just so we can have some early food. Also give our children something to do, because that is a job that does not require any tools, which usually is what defines what it takes for a child to do some jobs. Not rye, though. They can't gather rye because that requires a sickle, and children are too young to use such incredibly dangerous instruments. Extract mud. We are going to need to do some of that out of this region. Let's see, we're already gathering up that. Hunt, we should always set up at least a few basic jobs of hunt, especially really close to the base. That way, any easy animals that pass right by, so I don't have to travel very far, we automatically flag them to go and kill them. So let's go ahead and do something like that right there, and do something like that right along here. Okay, that all seems reasonable enough. Everyone should be gathering up some tools. We do, however, have a couple of idle hunters. Let's see. Is there anything nearby that we could kill? The answer is yes. There's some donkeys and stuff. Nothing that I think would be super easy, though. There's a grizzly bear, but for reasons that I think are obvious, I'd rather not deal with that, and I really don't feel like crossing the river. So, at the moment, it looks like you guys don't have a whole lot to do. There's got to be something worth killing, right? Am I blind? I guess there's not. Alright, well, go ahead and try crossing the river. Go and fight this old male bison. We need to kill some things to get tech points. I need some meat, and so on. Speaking of meat, we should make sure that we do have a food dryer set up. A couple of them, preferably. Let's see, I'll set one right here and one right here. There we go. Have a couple of those. We're going to need to make sure we get some skin drying done as well, so that we can get some soft skins that can make things like slings and bows. so that'll be important. We will also need to get things like a tanner, but I'll worry about all that in a minute. So for tools, what do we start off with? We've got a bow and a sling. Only one of each. Well, that's not great, is it? A couple of sickles, some fishing tools, axes, knives, and a handful of spears. Well, at least a bunch of spears is nice. Beyond that, it looks like we can only make bone and flint tools to start off, which I suppose makes sense. Okay, let's take a look at our limits and see. Oh, this has actually been changed up a little bit. Look at this. It's 50, it's not 50%, it's 50A for 50% of adults, so you don't make it based on population of children. That's actually pretty helpful. I'm going to say that spears are not a high as priority as, let's say, bows. Knives and stuff, not as much either. We probably don't need as many of these tools. We can set that down to 33%. Well, that's nice. Sickles usually are very good. Everything else here feels kind of meh and not that important. So I would like to set these guys to automatically start crafting bows, because bows are obviously very, very good, not only for hunting, but also for early game defense. Where are my guys? They are still sneaking up on the bison, who is now running and charging after them and is now dead. Can you guys also kill this donkey right here before he goes too far? And the answer should be yes. Got him. All right, so you are going to go and gather from this bison, and you are going to gather from the donkey, and that's actually 2 animals dead, which means I get some tech points. Hooray! Just in time to finish up with the food dryers as well, so that we can start hanging up that meat and actually get some food prepared for winter. Whoa, lots of animals just ran by over here. Hi, guys. Now let's see, what else do we want to be doing here? Great question. Probably shouldn't be playing on a higher speed until I actually know what's going on. Let's take a look at our milestones. Survival. Survive for 2 years, okay? Kill a raider, okay? 5 watchtowers, get 20 people, build a workshop and metalsmith, kill 100 raiders, bronze swords, guard towers, steel swords, get 150 people to join your settlement. Doable, but going to be annoying. One thing I want to change, by the way, I almost never want to have this set to produce lots of flour. We should set it up to only produce like maybe 25% of the population. That way, we actually don't turn all of our grain into flour. The reason that's important is because grain lasts for 2 years before it spoils, whereas flour, I think, lasts for only like 6 months. So if you actually overproduce flour but don't eat it fast enough, then what you've actually done is wasted a whole load of your valuable food, which obviously doesn't make a lot of sense. We should consider the defense of this terrain. It's actually not bad. It's mostly fairly flat. I could see this turning into a pretty good open area over here where we're going to have our entrances to the base. We do have a nice choke point around the river. Raiders, of course, can swim, but they'll most likely want to come through here, so that's going to be a good choke point for me. Yeah, for the most part, this doesn't look that bad, actually. It kind of looks even pretty good. All right, let's make sure we turn on some flint tools, flint sickles. We're going to want all of those. Nothing else here seems extremely important. Let's go ahead and chop down a handful of nearby trees so that we can have a bit of wood on hand. I do want a work area for some tannins. The reason that's going to be important is because I want to start producing leather. The reason I want to start producing leather is because I would like to build some sledges. And we do actually start with that tech, but that does take leather, not soft skin. So we'll need to do some of those. You guys still haven't built the skins dryers, huh? I guess you guys are currently a little overworked. We'll worry about that later, I suppose. As far as the tannery, we do need some logs. Okay. Well, a couple of tanners right there should do the job. And we'll be able to start producing all of that. Okay. Love it, love it, love it. Now, I will be employing jump cuts in this series, of course, because, you know, I don't want to waste everyone's time. It is important that we make as much progress in every video as possible. Though it does lead to a heck of a lot more recording time for me. I can't decide if this series is going to end up being shorter because we start so far further in time, or if it's going to be still about the same amount of time and an absolute slog because the milestones are hard. I could see both being true, honestly. I could see both being true. We do want to build one more hut, by the way, because I only have capacity for one more person, and I'm going to need more people. So having more space for more people makes a lot of sense to me. Let's see if we can get some hunters together, by the way, because I see a bunch of deer, and I want to kill them. It wasn't a deer, it was actually an oryx. I need to get my glasses, apparently. Yikes. We can't afford our first round of tech. Now, what would I want? It's a good question. Maybe the goat domestication so that we can learn how to get goats, and even if we don't keep them over the winter, it's usually good to domesticate instead of hunt. I'm going to go ahead and grab the goat domestication. If we find some ibex young that we can tame, we will happily do so. So the reason it's really good to domesticate animals instead of hunting them, even if you don't plan on keeping and breeding them, is because if you go out and hunt something, right, the hunters have to make a trip out there, they gotta kill it, then they come back, and somebody else has to come over with a sledge and gather up the food and the bones and bring them back. Whereas, if we send one person out to tame a goat, the goat comes over back home, and then we slaughter it, and now we don't have to go running around. It saves a heck of a lot of transportation time. That's efficiency. Let's also get a spiritual building set up, at least somewhere, maybe right over here or something. We're going to want to have a building around where people are able to regenerate their happiness. That will let me work them a little bit harder without having some detrimental impacts. Unhappy populations are less productive populations, and I'm already working them pretty darn hard, so getting ourselves a totem will actually make it a little bit easier going forward. Ah, the first snows. Alright, well, at least everyone has their clothes, so we should be okay for a bit. Domesticating some sheep so I could get wool and stuff would be nice. The problem with starting in the Neolithic era, cool as it is I haven't started with a whole lot of extra population, which means even though I have a lot of technology, getting the production chains I need to take advantage of some stuff like good wool clothing and so on is kind of impossible. And that sucks, because it means that technology actually is kind of working against me. The raiders are going to have a lot of tech, but I don't have the foundation that I normally would have from the Paleolithic era. That's rough, dude. And we have survived our first winter. Excellent. And now the animals are starting to come back out. All right, let's go ahead and grab a couple of hunters and see if we can hunt down a handful of these pigs and stuff. So we do need to plant down a bunch of crops. I'm aware of that. However, I would like to get some bones because right now we don't have any of those left to finish structures, as well as to make some more tools. We can hold off on the emmer at least for a little bit. Not the absolute highest priority, simply because we have enough food at the moment. I think we're going to be okay. Hold up. Hold up, game. Slow down. These are young ibex. Okay, so what we actually want to do now is also see if we can possibly capture these. So we're going to go and try to tame this real quick and send it back to the base, and it shouldn't actually be able to go anywhere, which is great. And now we're just going to rationalize with the goat for a little bit, and lo and behold, it has accepted and converted to our cause, and now we have a young goat. Goody! I'm working on building up a stables, because if I can hold on to them, that would be nice. I wouldn't mind having some domestic animals that we keep throughout the winter and possibly breed. But worst come to worst, easy meal. Easy meal for me. I'm also going to try to take out a bear, because bears I cannot allow to stay near my base. We learned this in hardcore mode. Predators nearby can kill all your kids. Don't feel like dealing with that. Also, you know, killing a grizzly bear were some early tech points, so that seems great. Okay, I think we actually have managed to plant down all of our early crops, which is great. So we are going to have a little bit of extra food come wintertime. Beautimous. Still no sign of any raiders. Also no sign of anyone who wants to join my colony yet, which makes me sad, because I would love to have some more people that I can exploit. But no, that's too much to ask for, apparently. Too much. We do, however, have our first birth, which is great. Oh, and the trader is coming by. Apparently the trader got a small update just in terms of visuals. It actually isn't the same person every time. And if they have animals that they are bringing along, you can actually see them, which is pretty cool. And we can sell animals. So there's actually more incentive to domesticate animals just for selling than there used to be. I'm going to buy all your bones, weirdly enough, and the reason that I'm going to do that is because bones are something I can easily turn into tools that we can sell for a profit. That said, I'm actually a little strapped for cash at the moment, apparently. We don't need this, axe, and we can sell off... What can we sell off, really? How about a sickle, but we keep some flints so that I can make myself something else? And you know what? Go ahead and give me one of your cured meat. There we go. All right. So using the bones, I can make some more tools we can sell to make a profit, at least for this stage of the game. Later, bones are going to be basically worthless. Oh, and 3 new people just joined the settlement, and we got a population of 15, so my knowledge jumps up. Very nice. Okay, let's go for the underground mining, because I've exhausted my nearby supply of flint. Now, there should be more flint somewhere. That's flint right there, right? Yes. Okay, so we should set up an underground mine. That way, we don't have to run all the way across the map in order to get ourselves some more flint for tools. So that will be pretty helpful, I think. We have a little bit of leather. We should also be building ourselves a sledge. Sledges are good for a lot of reasons. Sledges are good because they increase the carrying capacity over a longer trip for our workers. So, you know, less people have to go and gather up, let's say, the meat and the bones from a kill and so on, or all the logs. Instead of several trips, they only make one. That's good in and of itself. It also reduces the exhaustion of people, which can be pretty good for their happiness. And that's actually doubly true when it comes to heavy labor. Heavy labor involves anything involving, let's say, chopping trees or mining stuff. People get unhappy over time if they are doing heavy labor. Sledges reduce that unhappiness by a fair amount because they're not carrying quite as much of that nonsense. So it's good just for the long-term productivity of your base, as well as just the immediate productivity of more transport capacity. God, I can feel the paranoia already starting to set in. This is reminding me of the last series, where there came a point where it's like, I feel like we should be getting a raid any second now. Look across the map. Is there a bunch of red? Do we see a whole bunch of humans coming after me with pointy sticks? I don't see any yet, but they're supposed to be coming soon. Bear attack. Bear attack. Where? Why? Oh, it's a child. No, not a child. Okay, hang on. We got a couple of hunters. We can try to intercept. Maybe. Any other hunters? All of you. Did the girl get away? I think the girl actually may have gotten away, which is amazing. Yeah, she's up there in the hills. Okay, you know what? Abandon the fight. We're fine. We're not going to provoke the bear. Fun as it would be to kill the bear in revenge, it's a lot of wasted time. The girl survived. That's all that matters. Okay, we have our first sledge. That actually gives me just enough points to move on to the next level. What could I want? Well, tempting as it is to get fortifications, we have nowhere near the manpower necessary to chop down tons of trees and start building up walls. That's still going to be a while. Pulse Domestication at least gives me the ability to have some other food get planted during the summer and harvested during winter. Or maybe it's the other way around. Plant during winter, harvest during summer? I think that's how it works. So this could be good. Alternatively, well digging wouldn't be a horrible idea, because it would let me get water sources, you know, more immediately available in the base rather than walking down to the river. I'm going to go for the Pulse Domestication, though. I feel like you really can't go wrong with that. That's going to be good. Let's go for another small little patch of chickpeas or something. And it doesn't have to be very big, but at least this way, come winter, we'll have something to plant down, and that's going to be another good source of food. In the meantime, it is time for us to harvest the emmer. So we're going to have our first round of grain. Now, the trader has arrived. You can see that there actually is a gender associated with the goats in this case, because, you know, female goats can produce milk and such. How expensive is cheese? Not very expensive. Okay. So what that tells me is it's not something we'll be able to make a lot of money out of if we do decide to start selling some of that. Goats, 30. Honestly, I think we're just going to pass on any of your stock. I don't see anything particularly useful. It's not like you have any tech that I want, so yeah, nothing seems great. You go on and get out of here. Come back again with something that matters. Okay, we have our goats in the stables, so that's all set up. We have not an absolute ton of straw, but the good news is animals can eat grain in a pinch, so just because you run out of straw does not necessarily mean it is the end of all things. That said, I mean, we got at least a little bit of straw sitting around somewhere. We should be okay. I am building up a granary, so we'll have some more storage space, since right now we're starting to run a little bit low, and I want to make sure that we have enough space for all of our different types of food, so the granary is going to be done. That should make my life a teensy-weensy bit easier, and we're going around and planting down those chickpeas, because I want to have more food sources, besides simple hunting. Domestic crops, domestic animals. It's the way of the future, I tell ya. Let's also go ahead and pick up the well digging. I do think that having the ability to quickly grab some water in town is going to end up being valuable to me. We'll place it right down here, kind of in the middle of all things, and also close to a stable, which is good because you do have to water your animals. So that will be helpful. This takes some logs as well as some sticks. No stone or anything? I would have thought that was going to be necessary, but alright. Notice everyone using the sledges automatically for heavy labor. It's just the most efficient way to do things. Another winter come and gone. We haven't quite survived for 2 years, but once we do get to fall, that's going to happen. Got ourselves a bit more tannin, still rolling in a few more of those points. More animals should start spawning relatively soon, and still no sign of our first raider attack. Which I'm not unhappy about, because, like, I really don't want to have to deal with any of them. We don't want to hunt that animal right now, by the way, either. I don't want to deal with them, so not having to worry about raiders is great. On the other hand, it makes me a little concerned that they're not here yet, because does that mean they're going to have a really big first wave? Or maybe the game is just kind to you in this scenario, at least to start off, because it knows that you're going to die. So they give you at least a couple of years to put yourself together. Maybe. We should also set up a burial mound somewhere. Not that I'm, like, eager to have anyone die or anything, but one, it's worth a point to build something new, and two, we should just prepare for the eventuality that people are gonna die, because I can just about guarantee that's gonna happen in this run. There's no way in heck I'm gonna be able to survive this without losing anybody. It just ain't happening. Hey, look, the trader arrived with a couple of goats. What do you know? So we could buy the Fortifications tech. Now, that is something I would be very interested in. We could sell off our goats. Look at this, though. That's actually really, really helpful. I like that a lot. If we sell off some bows, some sickles... I don't feel like we have what we need to get this tech. Yet, unfortunately. Ah, that sucks. Well, we can go ahead and just research the fortifications outright, if we wanted to. Sheep domestication's also a thing. Weaving we don't need yet. Stilting we don't need yet. Megalithism, no. And flax. Flax? Flax. For linen clothing. Tempting. What would be the best of this bunch? I'm kind of leaning towards sheep domestication just so we can have some more animals that maybe we grow up and sell to the trader. Maybe that's a good way of getting some extra cash. Also, we'll be able to get wool and stuff. I mean, that could be pretty helpful. Then we would be able to get the weaving tech and actually do something with it. Fortifications, though. Maybe we do get fortifications just so I have the ability to build watchtowers. Let's get that. Just because I don't know what to expect from this first nasty wave that we're going to end up getting from enemies. But if we get ourselves like a watchtower, you know, right here, for example, and we defend around it, I can always tear it down later, but at least for now, it gives me a defensive point where I can rally all my troops and have a slight edge over any raiders that might come by. All right, that's got to be good. We have expansion milestone reached. Oh, wow, we reached 20 people before any of the others. I feel like we've done this out of order a little bit. Aren't you supposed to, like, get these usually in order? That's how it works. We got the 20 people one before we survived for 2 years or killed any raiders or built watchtowers. All right, maybe the order doesn't matter at all, but, you know, like, still. Let's see. What else we got over here? More goats, don't care. Still no sign of raiders. I mean, this is good. I'm just worried. We are harvesting up our first round of pulses, so that's another food source. Note we are doing A-OK when it comes to food at the moment. Am low on housing once again, so let's see if we can't sneak in another hut somewhere. How about we rotate you to be something kind of like this? We'll do something like this, I guess. I would normally say, hey, let's go ahead and tear things down and create good grid patterns, because we're going to need to be super space efficient. But at the same time, I don't know. I've always kind of been a sucker for the more organic-looking towns, you know what I mean? I want to go ahead and set up a cheese maker. Why? I don't know. Because I want to. I mean, I want to know what the new cheese is like, you know? Now, I happen to hate goat cheese with a passion. IRL. But it's fine. It's fine. I mean, in the olden days, you ate what you got, you know? You weren't picky. You couldn't afford to be picky. The picky person was undoubtedly going to die. But I just really hate it. I don't know. I don't know how to tell you guys that I just hate goat cheese. It tastes like a barn to me. It's sheep and goat cheese just tastes god awful. Hate everything about it. Ugh. Okay, it's now fall of year 2. So we should be about to get the next milestone. But I tell you what. Oh, there it is, right there. I tell you what, though. Sure as heck feels like this would be the perfect time for a raid. But if not, you know, okay. I'm going to go ahead. Why is this a different color than the other one? Oh, wait. Why are these actually separate colors? Is that supposed to signify anything in particular? Because the other ones, the other scenarios, they were all uniform. So, I don't know if they're going to be rainbow colored this time around for funsies, but... Oh, God, I thought for a second that actually said Raiders. I don't know if it means anything, but... Okay. Now that we have harvested some straw, this would be a very good time for me to get the cheese maker up and running. What does it take? Just 1 milk makes 1 cheese. Well, I suppose that is an increase in value to some extent. Does it increase, like, nutritional value, though? Like, if you can already drink milk and get food, right, this counts as 1 food unit, then what's a 1-to-1 ratio going to do for me exactly? Because it feels like this could just be a time sink to, like, spend some extra labor hours making a product that ultimately makes no difference in the game. Maybe, but then maybe not. Maybe cheese is good. I'm going to have to do some research on that. In the meantime, what other research would I like to get? Well, pigs, flax, maybe. I think we're going to go for the weaving. Let's unlock the weaving tech, and if I can domesticate some sheep and start getting some wool together, that wouldn't be bad. There's a whole load of goats walking off that direction. We should probably capture some of those. What is going on there? Did you see that for a minute? I swear I just saw a green body of something floating. Maybe it was sinking into the ground after being, like, dismantled. Because that's bones and skin over there. I don't know. I thought we had a ghost sheep. Up, 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 up. Raider attack. There they are. Okay, everyone on alert. Everyone on alert. Our first round of raiders. Okay, we knew that was going to happen about now. So fall. That appears to be the time when the raiders want to hit. Looks like there's going to be 5 of them to start, which is not the actual worst. We have way more than enough people to deal with that. The question is, do we have a chance to possibly go bombard them or something first? So let's see. Looks like they mostly have slingers and stuff. I guess we are going to go ahead and attack, because the second you launch your first volley, that's when they decide to go and fight. So we killed our first raider. We did get our milestone as a result. They're running away. One of our people was killed, unfortunately. Sort of to be expected. They all kind of started targeting the first person. They're running away? Well, hello. I did not know that raiders would eventually run for it. Look at her go! She's hightailing it! She's like, oh, frick! Dawnvault is a fortress! No! That's amazing. Okay, well, they're gone. Thank you for the extra knowledge points. And we should be able to start getting a bunch of their stuff, including some bone spears and some slings and other stuff. Great, just in time for the traders to come by, too. Hi, traders. Let's see, we could sell you some stuff. We got some extra goats. You want some goats? You don't have technology, though, so I don't think I want to give you any goats. I will take your straw, though. Straw is something I find myself often running out of. And we get the screenshot of our next milestone. Oh, I see. It's different colored because, like, this is the one we just earned as opposed to the others. Oh, I get it. I get it now. Okay, so we are a couple years into the game, about 2 years, and we have finished 3 of our milestones. Hey, that's not bad. We did survive our first raider attack, which we knew was coming, and it was not great. Losing a person is never fun, but we survived it relatively okay despite the fact that we had no meaningful defenses. So, I mean, I feel like we're doing okay so far. Not a bad start. Not a bad one at all. If we can get our population up and find a lot of extra labor hours to start mass deforesting the area and putting up some palisades, I would happily do that, but it may be a while. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you're looking forward to this new series. If so, then I would humbly ask that you hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.